So we talk to you brothers real quick. I know a lot of y'all have seen the past video of where Iyanla was talking about ask Ebony K. Williams would she date a bus driver. A lot of black men were upset at her answer. I wasn't. I wasn't upset at her answer at all because at the end of the day, that's her preference. If a woman says that only person that I would only date NBA players, hey, that's fine. I mean, the likelihood of her dating an NBA player might not be very high. It won't be high at all. But hey, if that's their preference, let them have it. Let them struggle to get that high value man. You understand what I'm saying, brothers? You can't be so. I'm going to react to this video here with DJ Envy. I call him the light skinned waffle colored Negro because he's in his feelings over what Ebony K. Williams said. And I think that DJ Envy took it out of context. Took it way out of context. And I get it that he was upset. I listened to the video and I heard his explanation, but at the end of the day, that's not even his woman. So he looked at it as Ebony K. Williams was putting blue collar men down. And I don't think that's what she was doing. Maybe that's probably what she was doing, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it, and we're gonna listen in, and I'll be reacting here and there. Let's get to it.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host from Horrible Decisions, Weezy and Mandy B here, who's been a lot of sex talk earlier today, but you know.
And just so y'all know, off air, Envy in here lying, y'all, but I ain't gonna call him out.
What, he like pee?
No, I mean, he was a culprit. He was involved in an activity that he ain't shared with everybody.
You was part of that activity, Charlamagne.
No, I was not. I had nothing to do with you and
Ebony,
Ebony.
how much more
Anyway, we got a special guest in the building as
We have a
well.
special guest in the building.
Okay.
Ebony K. Williams is here.
Ebony K. Williams.
Good morning, Breakfast Club fam. Good morning, Horrible Decisions family.
Hello,
Hey,
fam.
This is like a family reunion up in this piece.
It
right?
really is.
I feel like we about to start fighting, so let's just say we love each other now.
I actually feel bad. I actually feel bad, and I'm gonna tell you why I feel bad because I did two things this week that I normally don't do. Number one, if somebody I know is got something going on social media, we should have spoke to them.
I appreciate
and
that.
not about them. You know what I mean? And Ebony is our people. So I feel like we should have probably spoke to her, reached out to her like we always do for everything else. And I didn't watch the full interview with Iyanla. I watched the clip online.
The good thing I reached out.
Now, brothers, before I even continue, you see, a lot of people never look at the whole video. They'll take bits and pieces, and then they'll have a whole dialogue about something that she might have said. Like she probably only said like 4 or 5 words, and that's a problem that a lot of us have. We got to stop doing that. We got to listen to the whole thing. As they say, I got to finish my thought. Nobody wanted to listen to everything that she said. Y'all only heard the part about the fact that she would only date a bus driver. And I'm talking to you black men. Y'all black men was upset for no reason. And I already said it already. Y'all should have been more upset with Iyanla. But let's continue.
Reached out to you, my good brother.
Yes,
and we had a productive, spirited conversation.
Yes, we did.
And you rolled out the red carpet, and that's why I'm here today. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Now, did who watched the full interview with Iyanla in here?
I did listen to the full Holding Court episode
I listened to that as well.
with Ebony K. Williams and Dustin Ross. Of course, I saw the clips as well, and I as well responded on my podcast. See, the thing is, and spoke about it as well. However, there was more agreement with you than not, and so I'm excited to have this conversation.
Iyanla was really the issue when watching it, though. Like, I mean, I made a comment on your page and Breakfast Club page, and men was jumping down my throat because I'm like, what does it matter what she wants to be with? But I think the other comments were tough to watch.
So here's the thing. I want to, first of all, as I started with my Holding Court episode, offer gratitude. Because I think what we know, the fact that this conversation with myself and Dr. Iyanla, shout out to my SOAR, it aired last week. And let's talk about what's happened since then. We've had a whole White House Correspondents' Dinner. which Roy Wood Jr. killed. Shout out to Roy. We've had the Met Gala. We've got a war in Ukraine and still a war in Sudan, and yet folks is still talking about this shit more than anything else. And I think that speaks to something, right? I think it speaks to the insatiable nature of the fact that we've got to have this conversation as black men and women, and we're talking about the black family structure and black wealth building, and all of those are tenets that are tethered to why this has hit such a nerve and why it's reverberating, in a way. Tyrese posting about it, Jason Lee posting about it, the Shade Room posting about it, Spiritual World posting about it, Ava DuVernay in the comments, Viola Davis in the comments.
What was Viola saying?
We get to it. So that's a good thing. I want to start by that framework. Nothing about this is negative. People are disagreeing. People are feeling away. We're going to talk about it. But I want to start by the framing that we cannot have rupture in the culture and not do the work of repair. So to me, this is a conversation about repairing and restoring what has historically been a productive, valuable conversation and relationship between black men and women that somehow, some way has gotten away from us.
Well, I think it's two different conversations. Like, I watched the full, I don't care who
there's a lot of people that don't know what you're talking about that might have just tuned in and have
Today.
no idea.
So, Frank, go ahead, Frank.
Do they live under a rock?
Some people, because you have to tell people what you're talking about.
Okay. What are we talking about?
So it's something from comments that, because I don't want to misconstrue, because we only had a small piece of your conversation with Ayanna.
Sure.
So during your Ayanna conversation, she asked you if you would date a bus driver.
So let me back up for 1 second and be correct. I invited Ayanna on my Griot show. That Griot show airs on Byron Allen's network. The Griot airs every night at 6. Let's first of all start with this. Whole shit is y'all's fault.
It always is. It always is. It always
This whole shit is y'all's fault here at the Breakfast Club. No, love y'all. Y'all had Ayanna on. And Ayanna made a statement on the Breakfast Club morning show, and she said that a lot of young black ladies out here are men in skirts.
Which you agreed with.
Which I found very provocative. Did I not call you that day? And I said, this is spicy. I would love to participate in this conversation.
Brothers, I definitely gonna have to do a reaction video to that too, because Ayanna put out a lot of stuff, and there were a lot of black women that were upset with what she said. I'm gonna have to find that one, but let's go ahead and continue.
And then you do what you always do, and you went radio silent. That's cool. So then I invited her. And everybody that knows Charlamagne and is a loving relationship with Charlamagne, know that's the shit he pulled. It's cool. I've never taken it personal. So it's cool. It's always love for 7 years. So then I said to my team, I said, reach out to Ayanna. Let's book her. Let's bring her on the grill, because I want to have the conversation, and probably more productively, right, y'all? Black woman to black woman.
Yep.
Let's talk to each other. And also generation to generation. Let's talk to each other.
Yeah, because she old.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jesus
I was going to say
You
season.
should hope to get to that age.
That's it.
No, of course.
We know what the alternative is.
I want to age. I want to age.
Amen. Gracefully, beautifully. Okay, so Ayanna comes on, and I say, this is the framing I say to Dr. Von Zahn, to Ayanna. I say, sis, doctor, soror, talk to me about what you would recommend black women do in terms of our posture and positioning. When you're right, I am showing up in a posture of building, providing, and protecting my own self. I'm showing up in masculine energy, as you would call it.
Yep.
I'm conceding your point. But tell me how you would guide me to not do so when, I'll be honest, I don't really feel like I can trust that if I don't do it, that there's going to be adequate, keyword there, adequate, provision and protection if I don't do it.
Which is how you said it.
That's exactly how I said it, right? And she said, beloved, would you date a bus driver? And then the clip goes. And then I did stare into the abyss because I wasn't really sure where we were going. But okay, because she is an elder and she's also my soror in the deference, if you know, you know, I'm going to go with you. So I honestly answered y'all in that moment. If he owned the bus. And that's what I said, Envy. But what people heard based on the comments, that I said bus drivers wasn't shit. People heard that I said that bus drivers broke, don't make no money, ain't got no benefits, and that they were beneath me. That somehow was the interpretation of me saying that I will date a bus owner. Now, let me tell you what I actually said, and this is what the whole Holding Court shit was about. Go check that out right now where you get your podcast, Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams featuring
Iconic, you are absolutely correct. I'm speaking on the men. The men heard what they want to hear. They misinterpreted what she said. Now, she has said in the past that she dates off of her income. All right, brothers. She's not going to date. She's not going to date a guy that's working at McDonald's. So she dates off of her income, and y'all brothers have to understand that. And I don't even have a problem with that, because most women date off their income anyway. But, uh, but again, brothers, nobody should have been upset at what she said. We're not in her tax bracket. Go ahead, real.
I don't even think it's even necessarily about if he works at McDonald's. I'm basing it on the fact that their men are just happy where they're at. So there's a guy that likes to be a fry shaker. And there's men that will say, you know what, I can start off in that position for whatever reason, but I'd rather be the manager. Just for, for that example. So I think that she wants to go after the man that would rather be the guy that owns a fleet of buses rather than the guy that actually drives. And there's nothing wrong. There's two. I mean, that's all types of people. There's some people that legitimately like working. I remember going to a Chipotle, and there's a guy there that loves his job. He talks about, he said, I love this. This is, and I feel like that's in it. And I think that we place value on the level of income and where people are at in life. And we just tell ourselves, oh, he must not want nothing out of life, because what can you really do as a dude that just makes Chipotle?
Right.
But obviously, this dude is there happy. Every time I come up to this dude is happy. He's talking to everybody. There's just people like that. I think that this is a man-made society, and we created variable circumstances for happiness and fulfillment. And I think that, to me, when I see a person like that just they're at peace, I feel like they had a great parenting system. The parents raised them to just create their own peace.
Right.
Because rather than looking at he wants to work there, no. But all she's saying is, hey, I just want a guy that probably would want to be more ahead of the organization rather than working within it. And there's nothing wrong. Like you said, it's a preference. So yeah, I agree.
Right. And I see what you said, iconic. I see a lot of stuff, but the equally yoked, that is going to be brought up. And but one thing I will say to you, brothers, y'all should at least strive to do better. I will say that.
Thank you. Does that make it right? Because they're happy flipping fries? Because you and personally, I have a friend like this, and he's a dear friend. And the way he wants to go in life is, yes, he wants to be the manager and stuff, but then you want to have kids and you want to involve more people in this life that economically is not going to work. It's hard.
Hmm.
It don't matter how much money you have, and then you have innocent beings involved in your idea of happiness, which is not realistic because it causes more problems.
That's a true statement.
Well,
I
I
agree.
would say in regards to that if he's saying he wants to work at McDonald's and then he wants to still have a luxury lifestyle, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But
No, not
I don't
luxury.
typically.
I'm talking about a simple lifestyle. Like, hey, I want to date. I want to have a baby. I want to have a wife. And it's like, well, this and this don't add up.
No, I
Like,
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Let me just
I'm not
complete
trying to
my
talk
sentence.
down,
No,
but it's
just
like,
be
go ahead.
patient. Let me finish my sentence.
Hmm.
Um, I'm saying that I think that you can't say what is the next person's inspiring example, because that one would say that why would anybody would even want to work any physical labor? Why would say, because I don't work. I've never worked any physical labor. I've never did trucking, or I've never worked a 9 to 5. I've always made salary. I work in the office. I have my own stuff, and I would say, why would anybody want to do any of that? So that would be ignorant of me to say that. So yeah,
No,
once you
I
embrace,
don't believe that. I don't think that goes hand in hand because, okay, look, I look at you, you're fit. Hey, regardless if you don't want to do physical labor, you are fit.
yeah, take care of myself. Yeah, I'll go work
Yeah,
out.
so
Yeah, but
that
I don't. Yeah, but I
go.
don't really. I'm just saying, like, I agree. Once you bring another life, because that's different. But I don't think that
Yeah,
he's
because
going to be dating
look
a
at the.
woman that if he's having a child, I don't see that. I think there will be two people working. So I think they both would have an
Yes, but
income.
you're the man, and you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Okay,
I follow the traditional route
and
of the
I'm not,
man has to do the financial. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I
and
believe that. I don't think everybody believes that though. In
I'm not
America,
saying
not least.
tradition though. I'm not saying tradition because I don't believe. But then we have to start giving passes, okay?
So what? So
I'm with
when you say the
Uncle.
man is okay, so what do you mean by when you say he's the
Because
man
okay,
if you're not traditional?
so like if I'm so say I met a guy, right, and the guy never told me anything about his financial anything, but he provided. And this is a true story. And he's like, once I met you, you pushed me, not necessarily me push him, but it motivated him to get more and want more. Okay, long story short, later on, he then became the provider, even if he did make less than me. So then, hey, listen, if I wanted to use my money to make more income over a business or stuff, then that would be that, or do the house, or keep the house, or certain things and maintain. But it, sometimes I feel like people sign up for, hey, okay, just because I'm happy, we don't need much. That also causes problems. I think we're
No,
giving
I
men a
agree, and
pass.
I would have to say the person that if you're communicating and if you're getting to know somebody at the very beginning, there's your out right there. I'm not. I think people set these standards for themselves, and it's always like, well, what do I do? He doesn't want to do anything. Why would you even? Did you think in your head when a man said, I'm a minimalist and I'm happy with just the minimal, and I've showed you that? What tells the woman in her head that he's going to change that? You met him as a minimalist.
Hmm. And
Why do y'all
but I'm
pursue
saying
that?
a minimalist shouldn't be going to be a maximalist. A minimalist should stay by themselves, should stay single,
You
because you
can't, but
cannot.
you can't, that's not the route of a minimalist. He just prefers the least to for peace for his sake in the society.
Okay,
So
so
but I
maybe.
also can say as a grown woman, you shouldn't be dating a minimalist. Like if like I said, I'm traditional, whether you like it or not, I'm traditional. If I meet a woman that does not understand that she has a gender role in the relationship, whether she's working or not, then I'm going to say, you're not for me. You're a great person. I'm pretty sure you can find what you're looking for. I'm not going to get in a full blown relationship and say, hey, she has a problem with knowing that I want a home cooked meal, or I like certain things a certain way, or I want her to that would be crazy on my part.
Can we go
So
back to the actual thing, like where you're saying a guy is content working at Chip- Chipotle or McDonald's, and then you have a guy that wants to be the owner, right? Do you think that's
hmm
enough? People have made it
yeah,
enough, but do you think that?
you create because do you think having Jordans versus some Walmart shoes, which one's not enough? Is one not enough?
I've never owned a
Like, what
pair
do
of
you
the
mean by that?
Jordan, so I don't
I'm
value.
not, I didn't
No, but
ask
I
you. I'm
don't.
not asking
I
you a
can't.
literal
I'm
example. I'm
not.
saying
A shoe is a shoe.
is
A shoe
you're
is a
talking
shoe.
about the mindset. What I'm saying is the mindset. You can say that's your preference. I would prefer a man that would rather be the manager owner versus the man that would rather work under the management for and then he's happy with that. But you cannot tell that's just like saying like because then you would be upset if a man would question your lifestyle because yeah I can say that yeah it makes more sense to me and you that why would he want to work there, but I can't say what is enough for a person. I can't be that person because we do
No,
need
but not one
employees.
person. I'm saying this is what I'm saying. Let's go back to this person wanting
Yeah,
to
I'm telling you,
produce
look, listen
life.
to what I'm saying. You're not listening to my words. Listen to my words. Stop trying to like figure it out. I'm saying
No, I'm going
you,
back. I want the answer to that. Like I- you get what I'm saying?
there's
I'm
no
not.
such thing as
The
not, hold
question.
on. There's no such thing as not enough because you're judging it from a female standpoint as far as dating and
So
relationships.
what
You
that's
don't think it's
exactly the
enough.
question. The question is, do you think that they should go on and move, like reproduce and take on another
Do I feel
human
that way
being?
personally? Yeah,
Yes,
personally,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
okay. Well, okay. So personally,
For themselves, it's
No, I
fine.
don't think
But
that. I
to
don't
have
think
this
that is
ambition,
because I don't know his.
yeah.
See, this is the thing. Like, I don't know what he's gonna want from the woman in order for me to say that. Because if she's working too, or if he's like, I don't know his dynamic. But I'm not gonna place a standard on a man because he likes working at a place that in society is considered low level working, or it's
No,
not
it's not
It's not.
considered low level.
It is. It is
It's a
considered that in
so no,
society.
look,
Working at
it's a stepping stone for certain people at certain levels. So
so if
if you have
uh,
a 18-year-old or a 17-year-old working there, that's a stepping stone. We give them a pat on the back for getting up every day, working towards the schedule, working towards a better life. But when you're grown and your idea is, hey, I want to go out, I want to reproduce, I want to do that.
yeah, again, this is I don't think she understands. But what do you think? What do you think about? I
Okay,
just think
I
that
just
there's two types of
so I
people,
want
and
him to go.
you're basically saying that it's not enough to be working as I agree personally, but obviously the world is full of more people working at fast food and those type of jobs and having families than corporate America. There's more workers that have families and are they're fundamentally at least as far as the stats show, they're working paycheck to paycheck, but they're living their lives. So I wouldn't say that that's not enough. I mean, that's middle America. Do I think personally? No, I don't think it's enough for me, like for my lifestyle, me personally, but I can't ignore the fact that most of the world is full of people working at convenience stores, clothing stores, phone temp agencies, nurses, front cashiers, and they have full-blown families. That's most of the America. The consumer is outweighing the owners and entrepreneurs by far.
That's true. That is a true statement. But let's go ahead and continue with the video. That was, yeah, we already. Let's continue.
Justin Ross. I said to hold the court, y'all, let me tell you why ownership is it for me. It's not about salary. Y'all made it about salary. Y'all started debating 125 a year versus 160 a year versus 200 a year.
Well, you did quote stats before you went into the thing with Ayanna. And you
Well,
talked about women
income,
women earn more money than men.
And I talked about black women buying more homes. We buy homes at single black women are buying 20% of the market share of new real estate on the market. I know because I just closed last summer and it was a shit show in underwriting. That's another
They're
conversation.
graduating more. They're in college. Yeah.
Highest rate of
I sent it to you,
entrepreneurship.
Charlamagne, because Charlamagne, even you guys do so much work on the Breakfast Club about what? HBCUs.
Yep.
And I was devastated when my good friend Eugene Scott sent me a post, Washington Post article that said black men are going to HBCUs 1 to 2. It's 2 to 1 for black women graduating. So these are things we got to look at because you have daughters and you have daughters and some of y'all in here got daughters. And if they're going to want to partner and marry men and black men at that, and they're going to want to build together, as you two cite your marriages as examples of, we gotta talk about how people can be equally yoked. So back to ownership, Charlamagne. I said ownership is key for me. Why? Not because I'm a bougie bitch. This is not about everybody being a Harvard surgeon. This is about this book right here, Bet on Black. You've read it, Charlamagne. Y'all were at the party. Y'all know what time it is. It's hard to be free in America as a black person when you don't own anything. And I mean that with my fiber in my being, and I'm going to prove it to you. My grandfather, Kerry James Williams, had a 4th grade education in Montpelier, Louisiana. He then provided for my family with everything they needed by doing 5 things at one time. That man cut hair. He made and sold moonshine. He cut graveyards on the weekend. He also worked a salary job at a feed mill. If you know about that feed mill life, then you know. My point in this is saying this, and then he raised my mother, Gloria, who also did not complete college. She took 2 years at Texas Southern. She said, how much? $50,000. It ain't gonna be that for me. And she pieced out. And she started her own business. She drove the bus. So for all of y'all in the comments, well, my daddy drove a bus. Well, my mama drove a bus. My mother drove a bus as well, y'all. She drove a bus until she acquired a skill set. In her case, it was cosmetology. She drove the bus in the morning, the school bus. She would get off the bus. She would go to Universal Beauty School off of Beatties Ford Road in Charlotte, North Carolina. She would then get back on the bus, drive the afternoon shift. Then she would come check on me, make sure that I was doing what I needed to do. And then she would go drive for UPS. So for those of y'all talking to me like I don't know what a CDL license can do, I helped my mom study for a CDL when I was 9 years old. I promise you I know about that life. My point is this. It's about skills. It is nothing wrong with driving a bus if that is your maximum skill set.
Go ahead, Reels.
They always leave and act like they got something to do all of a sudden, whenever they get questioned. But it's all about the mindset. And let me tell you this, Slim. If you own 5 franchises at McDonald's, because you can own the franchises, and you have the employees there, will probably be more than 50 employees at each one, and you found out that they all have families and they're making ends meet, are you going to tell yourself, damn, these motherfuckers that work for me, they're the problem. These people that I need to give me the money I need to gain out of just owning these franchises, they're the problem. They're trying to procreate now. I thought they was just trying to, start their lives up. Some of these people make being the burger part of their lifestyles. There's more people married under these middle America conditions. There's more consumers working basic jobs. The consumer that works just as hard and pays and lives under their means, they're making the world go round. There's not that many people that are entrepreneurs and owners compared to people. If you want to say that the world is in destruction because of the people choosing to say this is their goal in life, this is what they've achieved in life, was just to be a burger flipper or fresh, and they have a whole family, and that's the problem. No, that's not the problem. That's what, and especially in the Black community, it's mental health issues. It's the value system. There's also a lot of whites, Indians, Asians working in the same conditions that are somehow, some way to manage a whole living.
Right.
They don't know about credit. They don't know about insurance. So she's speaking from a female. So she's thinking that if I'm going to, because she sees are the type of woman that sees potential in a man. And she says that, well, whatever he's doing, he's better inspired to be more than what he's doing now. I'm going to accept him working at a car dealership because eventually my expectations, but they don't tell these men this. They don't tell them because you know what? They're overlooking it because he probably is attractive. He probably said the right thing, or they probably was lonely for so long that a woman has needs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not upset with what she's saying. I agree. My personal opinion, yeah, I think all people should try to be the best them. But again, what's the metric system for the best them? Because we can't say entrepreneurship, we can't say business, business owners, because can't everybody own a business? Not everybody's an entrepreneur. Some people need direction. Some people, that's why they have military, police force, firefighters, construction workers. Those are the type of men I feel like they don't mind order and direction from ahead. They like that. Hey, just tell me what I need to do so I can get this done and go home at the end of the day. Some men just like that. There's people like that.
Right.
There's not that many innovators out there. And I get what she's saying and I agree, but my ambitious nature may be I'm in a different market, but I'm never going to look at a man that is. Then why are they still? My thing is, why are they still fucking the dudes at McDonald's then? Why? Why are they still fucking dudes that stay on the couch, don't have a car in a place?
That is a good question. That's actually.
Why
a
are they
good
still
question.
fucking them if they need these men to be doing this and that? That's it.
Yeah, and I will say this with Ebony K. Not everybody could be a business owner and an entrepreneur because at the end of the day, you're still going to need workers. So I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind owning something, but at the same time, I really don't want to I don't want to be a business owner because I don't want the responsibility I just don't want the responsibility. That's the only reason why I don't really want to be no business owner. I have no problem working for the quote unquote man, If I got to work with a white man to make my money, oh well, I'll do that. But let's continue.
I simply want to call Black America up to the excellence that I know we can occupy. I've seen it before. Entrepreneurship is the key to me. That's not just me talking. That's Earl Graves Sr., the founder and visionary of Black Enterprise. I'm talking about Black Enterprise, Black ownership, and Black liberation. And it is important to me. It's in my DNA. It's my personal legacy. Because my mama told me, y'all, nobody will pay you what you will pay you. And this is not about shaming bus drivers, but I want to be clear. If you are driving a bus today, and that is the maximum of your skill set, I love and appreciate it for you. I have to, because it's an honest day's living. But I want to tell you the truth. And this is not about hurting feelings or talking down or being an elitist. I need you to know that in 10 years, you may or may not have a job. Because AI. Artificial intelligence. See, this is the part nobody wants to talk about,
The lawyers
y'all.
might not have a job in 10 years.
They might not. And that's why so I'm glad you're going there, Charlamagne, because this is the part of the conversation that people really are feeling triggered by. We all have to reassess constantly.
You know what gets me? You know what? Hold, is that Moses? Hold on, Moses. Let me say this real quick, because I heard this conversation. Matter of fact, it was on your panel. And no, it wasn't even on your panel, but I heard a couple of people talking about that AI is going to replace truck drivers and this and that. Let me tell you something. If that happens, if they start and I don't even believe that's going to happen, it's going to be a lot of accidents on the interstate. But go ahead, Moses.
It's not going to happen. So let's talk about this, right? The whole thing with these electric vehicles is just a left-wing propaganda push. It's never going to actually be a fucking thing. They've talked to energy experts that have told them power-wise, our grid system can't handle it. Those trucks, they're not even capable of traveling the distance that the diesel trucks do in the amount of time. Mm-hmm. They take longer because of the recharge. It's not an efficient way to move forward. So when people are saying these things, I don't care. I let them just say these things. They don't drive these vehicles. They don't even study this industry. They don't even really know how far AI can go in certain areas of life and where it's kind of limited. I understand that it's a big thing, but in the car industry and in the truck industry, they ain't replacing us, bro. I don't care what anyone says. It's not coming no time soon. I don't think I'll even be working by the time they're able to
it's going to be over 100 years of at least before that's even an example. It might be teased. We be teasing a lot of things because people get bored. Our attention span has been so low that we just need to see something new. And the only way that we even know that there's innovative things going on because of other countries. Other countries don't follow the protocol that we do. So China will risk having an AI drive a truck and kill 1,000 people because they don't have the same rules. America, they have to go through a lot of rules.
And they're telling us they're going to wait 30 years later to try to do it themselves. That's the bullshit.
Right.
Our country is literally let them say to us, we're going to be the test dummies for how we can run on total electricity and solar panels, knowing damn well that would make them a better producing country than we could ever be. It's like Biden is like just right in your face, handing over the power that made this country what it is. And this is the reason why we speak against this type of shit. I'm not going to sit up here and let people just tell me that you're going to take my industry. How are you going to take the industry from the truck drivers and you don't have a safe way of doing this? I'm not even thinking about that shit.
Exactly.
You show me one of these companies that got a whole, because they got billions of dollars. Show me one company that spent the money on all those electric vehicles. They'll show me one company.
And I heard from the accidents, the type of damage those trucks can do, it's way worse than a truck. It like the amount of force and when those batteries explode, it's like four trucks going off at one time.
So think about it like this: if your truck is already heavy and they taxed when Slim was out there on the road as an owner op or whatever, he was getting taxed for the damage that our trucks do on the road. You know what I'm saying? Because of the weight. They only let us weigh up to 80,000 pounds. Now, if these trucks are heavier, that means you have to carry less freight to be under the weight limit, which means less money. This is not going to work. Like anybody with common sense would be like, "What the fuck are y'all talking about?"
Yeah, they don't
There's a lot of
understand.
things that there's a lot of things that they say on these shows that they say it as it's the truth. And I guess when she's trying to make her point, she was trying to say that it's not even a good investment if you're trying. I think that's dumb. She's trying to say I'm not trying to talk down on y'all, but it's not even a good. That's the one of the best investments. Farmers, truckers,
It's
any
a trade.
recreational instruction
All of these
workers,
trades they're trying to
those are the
minimize
biggest
are very much needed.
investments. Yeah, and it's different from working as construction and working in factories. Like Critical Camp showed us how this machine can do some of the work. That's a factory. You're working inside a place that they already built the parts and stuff. They're in boxes or in containers. And yeah, I think a robot could probably scan that. But I'm talking about the manufacturers that send it to those factories. It's going to be pretty hard because it takes one machine to make a mistake, and then it's going to cause a domino effect on damage. That's why there needs to be people around for a long time. It's going to be almost 200 years before. Have you even seen? Y'all are truck drivers, so I know y'all know how difficult it is sometimes on the road when you're on highways. It's a scary thing to see like 4 big trucks, and I'm like, man, let me just slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I always be
because
accidents waiting to happen.
I don't think people understand like a if a truck is going a truck that has weight on it is going if it's just going 65 miles per hour, bruh, for that truck to make a complete stop, by the time it stopped, that it already crossed 2 football fields. I don't think people understand that.
Oh, that's scary.
So
God damn, I didn't even know that.
yeah, it's by the time it makes a complete stop, it's already crossed 2 football fields. So I don't think people understand
For the
that.
cars ahead of us, like we're looking 2 cars ahead of what that car's
Yep,
doing.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So how does a truck do that? How does a truck make that type of assessment? How does a truck realize that when it's where the lines are blurred and you can't see nothing because of the snow? How do you know where the fuck you're supposed to be?
Yeah, when the scanners and the stuff is getting snowed on and stuff. I don't get that. I think that she's trying to. I think I get her point, but her examples, I see why it's offending a lot of blue collar worker men, because for her to say in the next 10 years you might as well just retire, or you might as well just do something. No, there's some jobs. There's not going to be farmers, construction workers, any sewer workers. Sewers have to be managed every day.
Yep.
Bro, I would challenge her to sit down and listen to what Congress was told by the former energy director under Trump, and what he had was facts. He didn't just sit up there with bullshit. He started questioning them about the grid. He asked them. He said, "Do y'all know how much power it takes to run the country?" Nobody on the left knew the fucking answer. All the people that are saying that we can do this, we can make this switch, none of them knew the answer. So he tells them the megawattage or whatever it is, the wattage. Then he explains to them the wattage that y'all want is 10 times that. How do we produce it?
Right. Well,
Like, get real here, man.
let me go ahead and continue with the video. If y'all want to chime in, let me know. What
Yeah,
up,
go
Jay?
ahead,
What up, Jay Mercy?
What
our
up?
skill set and how it's applicable today and how it might or might not be applicable tomorrow. So this goes back to everybody in the comments. Well, my daddy drove a bus and he did this and he was respectful and he was a good black man. He was a great black man, I'm sure. I'm sure all the bus drivers are saints and none of them cheat and none of them beat women and they all are just God-fearing men that show up in how they're supposed to in this world.
I don't know why she brought that up. I don't know why she did that.
What the fuck is this? Yo,
No, I'm
this
not.
is that stupid ass woman conversation shit that make you not want to talk to fucking women. Because like they just say shit that's like, what the fuck does that have to do with the
Right.
conversation?
And I don't want to say too much on that, but y'all just see that she's a feminist. But I want you brothers to keep in mind that I think she was 30. This is again, she did not. This was her second time being on the Breakfast Club because she came on after that. But well, let's go ahead and continue because I don't understand why she said all that.
Slim,
Yes.
hold on.
What's up?
Give me a little backstory, like who she
What's up?
is. What?
Oh,
Give me a little backstory, like who she is. What?
Well, I believe
Well, not
that.
all, but I'm saying like,
No,
I mean,
that's the narrative.
It's sarcasm.
That's the narrative. And all people that dare to own, that dare to advance a skill set in a different kind of way, not a better way or a worse way, a different kind of way, they all have full-blown AIDS, beat their wives, and will die alone. That's the narrative.
What Tyler Perry movie is this?
That's what I'm saying.
It is Temptation.
It's very Tyler Perry.
It is.
But Ebony, what about the bus drivers that their goal was to own a home? And what if they came from something that necessarily wasn't the best education, and driving the bus is
I think we got to broaden the conversation. I think we keep using words like bus drivers.
This is what bothers me, to make it seem like bus drivers only drive buses.
Why do we keep talking about bus drivers?
Because let's generalize bus drivers.
Let's generalize.
We could talk bus drivers, we could talk police officers, we could talk MTA workers, we could talk all these different people that work at these quote-unquote average jobs.
Everyday working class people.
Now, this is my problem, right?
Yes.
Now, I do real estate, and I do these seminars all across the country, right? We get thousands of people. The majority of people that own homes and investment homes are your quote-unquote average workers, all your bus drivers, all your MTA workers. So they just don't drive buses. They have properties. I know a police officer that drives Ferraris because it's not from his police job. It's from the houses that he owns, that he made off to the police job.
You sure it's not from the cocaine
I'm
he's stealing in the...
1,000%. No, Jesus Christ. I'm 1,000%.
I'm playing. That's a joke.
He has more properties than you, me, and Charlamagne put together.
Joke.
That's who he is.
That's a joke.
But they take it serious. But I know these people that do it, and they put in hard work. So when you say,
this is that shit, man. I don't even know how to stomach this shit.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm for real. I don't know how people start. Not to say you're wrong for playing it, but it's just like these type of people just really fucking piss me off. Like this, it's like you can't say shit right for these women. You know what I'm saying? Everything is gonna be shit down. Talking down on the average class person. No matter like what he said is kind of smart, right? I know plenty of my friends' parents that were average workers, but they ended up owning multiple pieces of property. Some of them cashed in over this recent last couple of years because the properties were worth so much. You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
Well,
I don't know what does she want?
Well, Moses, y'all have you see. This is the thing. Now you're. I don't want to look, man. You're almost acting like DJ Envy. See, this is the thing. Y'all took a lot of people. I'm not saying you. Maybe you might have. A lot of people in the manosphere took her just because she said she wouldn't date a bus driver. Y'all, everybody took it in the wrong context.
I care about the way she's describing the type of men that do these things. Like it's like everything has to be negative towards us. Like we're bad people. Like she said, yeah, I guess none of them beat their wives, do this, do that. Like what was the point of that? What did that have to do with? We were just talking about people working. I can't tell you that no truck driver doesn't do that shit.
I'm gonna have to agree with that real quick, son, before you say something, because
yes, sir.
She has an influence, and even she said if she was being sarcastic, that is not by definition what that was. She was throwing shots at the stigmas of these men. That's what she was doing, and I think that's what men are getting mad at, because she's saying I now I'm looking at it from a different angle. Now you can look at it. She's saying the mind of a man that would do something like a blue collar job, that to her, that's his limitation of growth. Not to DJ Envy saying that no, I know police officers, firefighters, construction workers that end up owning property because they end up saving money or whatnot, and they end up making a lot of money that benefits them later in life.
They sold
so
drugs.
I see what now I didn't see it at first. Now I'm seeing it, because why? It's not she used the wrong one, sarcastic. She said, she could have said, I'm joking around, I'm just playing, I'm just saying what people say, but she's literally using stigmas about these men. These men come home from work and they beat on their wives. That was the stigma. They're cheating on their wives. They got a whole new. That's the stigma, and she's saying it every time. And I think that was what was pissed. I think what you said too, Slim. There's a lot of men that just heard that little 5-minute clip. But I think now that I'm listening to what she's saying, why is she using negative connotations for like every time he makes a statement about men doing this, and she said, oh, he's also doing this. Do you know women are narrow-minded? When they hear her say that as a joke, they don't know that. There's like, that's true. That's what they're doing.
And they probably
know how these women.
My homegirl fucked the truck driver. He whooped the shit out of him. Like, what the fuck?
No, I see from all different angles where multiple people can get offended, but I would say that she's not being sarcastic, because sarcastic is using a whole different type of format. Sarcastic is like she basically saying, well, they're just gonna just want to come home and sit on their ass rather than saying, well, they beat their wives, they're alcoholics, all this other weird shit. But I see where someone else could be offended because a bus driver could be saving money for 10 years. Like I said, you save money for 10 years, then you find something that's big in the market, which is real estate right now, and you start something out with that, and you profit from it. So some people just don't have the opportunity to later, but she's talking as in this means where you settle in my head.
Right.
And I also agree with what she's saying because I'm thinking she's saying preference. That's what I believe. Like she's saying, I just want a man that just thinks ownership rather than consumer worker. That's a preference to me. You know what I'm saying?
But the two things here. What DJ Envy said in the beginning, where the average homeowner is that everyday blue collar worker.
Yeah,
That
I
is
said
a
that
fact,
earlier.
right? Number one. So number two is she's doing more than just laying her preference. She is kind of like using a wide painted brush and saying, well, this is how men are who do these kind of jobs. This is what they do to their wives. This is their limitation. When you speak in that type of, when you use that verbiage and you speak in that type of, like you definitive, and what you're speaking is more than a preference. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if she has an
I see what you're
agenda
saying.
or I don't know if
Do
she
you
has
see what
an
we're saying,
agenda
Slim?
or
What
she's
she's
No.
doing?
I get it, but
You see what we're saying?
right, because I was only again she didn't say that in the interview with Iana. Now that I mean I've already listened to this interview too, but now I'm listening to it from you guys. Now I understand where you're coming from because even when she said it about they beating their wife and all that stuff, when she said it, I was like, why did she say that? You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't even necessary. And I've heard other women just like they say about me. Oh, you a truck driver? You must be sleeping with multiple women. You probably got babies all over the state, all over the United States. So I understand.
right.
So I do understand that, which is messed up. I mean, because nowadays
That's
don't
more
matter.
than a preference.
Right, because it don't even matter what type of job you got now. You could be a barber. All of a sudden, you sleep with all the single mothers. You a mechanic. You sleeping with the woman that, because she didn't. I get
They
it.
said it about barbers and construction workers. That's what they say about them. And at least in Florida, they say if you're a barber, women will assume that you sleep with a lot of women because you get these female clients that have their sons. Or if you're a construction worker, you got a whole nother family. They say that jokingly, but I think they really believe it. Like, oh, you're a construction worker? Oh, I know you got a family in another state. And especially truck drivers, because that's big down in Florida. Truck drivers, they look at truck drivers like celebrities down here in Florida. Like, then they're going to always make jokes like that. You got like 5 kids. So I don't think she's helping by like reinforcing those stigmas when she talks about what most people are doing in America. Right. These are what most people are doing. So when the chick Iconic said, well, they should be doing better, I said the same people that if you're an owner to consume, those are the consumers. Yes, they're living under their means by the luxury things they want from like some type of ingrained thought process. But those same people that work those type of blue collar jobs are the same people that would probably still eat dinner from working at a McDonald's. Oh, I'm gonna take this home to eat dinner. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like some people will. So these people that I just think that she should have been a little more professional for her point. And I think when she did that, I really feel like that's offensive, like in a sense. Now in other videos, you agree. I saw this video, I saw that video. I wasn't really focused on these little side comments. Now that I'm listening, I'm like, why is she continually making those statements every time he makes? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But that's it, bro.
All right, let's go ahead and continue with DJ Envy, light skinned, waffle color Negro.
Unless he owned his own bus, a lot of people felt it like, yo, that's disrespectful because just because I took a job, and a lot of people take those jobs for a couple of different reasons. One, the benefits, right? Sure. They know they can work for 20 years. After 20 years, they can retire, and they still get their retirement, and they still get their benefits. So after 20 years, they can. Most police officers, the same thing. They get their retirement, they can still carry their firearm, and they can still get their benefits. So I look at it as that's a great hustle. They work for 20 years. At the end of 20 years, let's say they start at 21. At 41, they done working the bus company, done being a police officer, done being MTA, and now they just making money on top of money. So it's value over values, right?
Envy, let me stop you right there.
It's not.
Do you think for 1 second, and I know you don't know me that well, but we've had enough conversation. I had you on Revolt Black News. You talked to me about your father, who was a leader in law. Do you think for 1 second I'm about to push back on anything you just offered in that statement?
You can't.
Right. So I cannot. And so what I'm telling you is, what you are applying now is not the facts as they were given to me. Ayanla did not ask me, Ebony, would you date a bus driver that also had a real estate portfolio? Ayanla did not ask me. Hold on now. Ebony, would you date a bus driver that also has a litany of franchises? Because you and your wife just bought 5, right?
Six
Crystals?
Yeah.
Crystal Burgers. Okay. She didn't ask. That was not the framing of the question, Envy.
Yep.
Had that been the framing of the question, I would have said, Dr. Vons, where the fuck he at?
So,
real quick,
to date a man, you have to come with a resume to say all the property.
Didn't Ebony K. Williams earlier said that it wasn't? Didn't she say something to the effect about it wasn't about finances, but now it is? So Ebony
Yeah,
K.
I was thinking that.
So you kind of contradicted yourself, because then that means that as long as he has a multiple source of income, you would date him. So Ebony K. Williams, you actually contradicted yourself, and I don't even think you even realize it. Anybody else got something before I continue?
That's a fact. Yeah, and it just goes back to to women that achieve these careers and stuff. I always said it's insurance. I think they went through the survival phase, whole phase, and I don't think they would feel comfortable to fully trust a man. And I think that normally when these women want to stand by the money and say this is where we stand, we're equally yoked because we're both financially making the money. I think a lot of these women are using that for their own insurance. And because it takes away her first point that it's the mindset. Because she said first it was just the mindset. I would rather want a man that says, you know what, I'll work as a bus driver until I can become get to a point where I can be an owner myself. Now it went to, well, you didn't say he wasn't doing multiple things of income. Yeah, you're right. So that's all I gotta say. Yeah, she's kind of contradicting herself. Now I didn't even catch that the first time, to be honest with you.
Hey,
And all I gotta say is I respect you all men who put up with this shit. Cause for me, I don't like I don't even listen. I don't like anyone who knows me in real life. I don't have patience for this, man. I don't even like talking about these topics because if I apply it to my real life, she would never get 5 minutes out of me. So it's like, I don't know, man. I'll let you all talk about it. I'm gonna listen. Go ahead.
all right. Well, let's go ahead and continue.
Properties that I own, or do you get to know that man
Hold
and see
on.
what he's
But
about?
see, that's
But time out,
semantics
time out.
now.
It's
But now it's
not-
semantics.
Here's the thing.
It's
Y'all
not.
didn't listen to the whole Ayanla interview.
Go ahead, Shar.
Ebony actually agreed with Ayanla. That's what's confusing me.
Well,
because you actually agreed with Ayanla when she talked about, you should be open to dating a bus driver. You can build with a bus driver. You actually agreed with that. So that's what's confusing me.
You agreed with Ayanla, then also conflated more and said a loving man, someone that loves what they does. There was a whole lot of other things. So she agreed that, of course, I want a loving man. I want a man that's passionate. I want a man with a plan. All the other things that came after the bus driver is what Ebony agreed to.
Yeah, so I say, why let the griot put out a clip that is more salacious and out of context when you actually
That's
did
media.
agree
That's
with Ayanla?
Well, I'm not going to throw the griot under the bus. See what I did there? But what I am going to do, is say that we know the business that we are in. So you said something, Charlamagne, on the show yesterday. We're like, we're entertainers, and we have to not over
Inflate our
index for
positions.
our.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to be clear. My beloved, I'm actually not an entertainer. I'm not. I'm an educator. I'm an advocate. I happen to use the form of television, radio, and podcasting to do my work. See, we can't conflate platform with purpose. So why did the griot and the brilliant, talented team of journalists over there decide to use the bus driver clip, which is sensational and controversial? Because let's be honest, the griot is not getting the eyeballs the Breakfast Club is getting. Revolt Black News is not getting the eyeballs the Breakfast Club is getting, or The View is getting, or The Talk used to get. Because the nature of not just black.
Go ahead, Maine.
That is literally entertainment. If she's doing podcasts now, she's doing shows. She may be informing people, but if you wasn't for entertainment, you would have never even went on the show to talk about your dating preference. Like that is a form. Just because you're not as popular as the Breakfast Club or other podcasts or other entertainment conversation shows, it doesn't mean it's not entertainment, because there's a lot of women that follow Ebony K like a cult. Like when I say that, when I looked at comments and stuff, these women worship this woman, and I don't think she realized that. So she does have a form of entertainment. Yes, she's educated, and I don't think she's a lawyer anymore. I think she went like what most people are doing, taking the podcast route, but it's still entertainment. You wouldn't even humor the controversial topics like relationships and stuff like that if you were just an educator. If you were just talking about finances and stuff like that, you would never go on another show and say, I would rather date this type of guy or that guy. You just wouldn't. Like, it's just a fact. So I don't think she came prepared for this show like she did when she was talking about what women should be doing in their younger years if they inspire to be married. I think that she's just rambling. I think she's just thinking off the top of the dome. That's all.
Okay. Let's go ahead and continue.
Black culture of American culture is entertainment first. So when you start doing the work of educating around where artificial intelligence is taking the culture, where you start doing the work about where criminal justice reform, how this summer, the U.S. Supreme Court, y'all, affirmative action, as we all know it, that shit is gone. Know that. But no one is going to watch in the volume that we need to have the impact that I seek as a teacher in this world, Charlamagne, if we don't put out that clickbait. That's the reality.
So it was to bring attention to a larger conversation.
And guess what? What we know, because we all sitting here today talking about this shit a week later, is it worked.
It worked.
But then you came back and the next day people feel like you doubled down on what you said.
I don't feel like I did.
Okay.
I stood 10 toes down.
And what did you say
when you? I don't think that was standing down though. I think you completely like took a different turn.
I
like
agree.
that was.
So?
I agree.
I actually thought it was tough
I
to
agree.
watch. And you know I love you, but like
No, you know, but I feel you. But that has love ain't got nothing to do with it. Tina told us that. So go ahead. I want to hear the
because to me,
response.
10 toes down would have been like, yeah, this is the choice that I'm making. This is my preference. This is the type of man I want. What I watched were you talking about people as a whole,
right?
And even white supremacy, bringing up, calling, saying average. Like it to me, it felt like almost attack on the working class and the people that were in them comments more than it was the man you're looking for.
So let's address it, Weezy. I'm glad you brought that up because that is the turn that I took. So at this point, who gives a fuck about who Ebony K. Williams is dating? Let's throw that over to the side because it's irrelevant.
That's your preference.
And
I agree.
And
Right.
who gives a fuck, right? So now let's talk about my real work in this world. The work God has called me to do, which is to always sit in a posture of elevating, advancing, and offering options to Black Americans for us to have a first-class existence. So when I talk about a permanent Black underclass, that's something that I talked about in the response video that Weezy citing. A lot of people felt a way about that. What the fuck does she mean, a permanent Black underclass? What I mean is the data. So I sent Charlamagne a bar graph from the U.S. Census yesterday, and it listed about 15 different global identity. So again, you got to zoom out for this. This is not about Black folks and white folks in America. This is global. At the top of that, y'all, this is earnings. Indian Americans earn more than anybody else in America. At the very bottom, Black Americans. It's like they were earning about $100,000 per year per average. Not a few, not half. 100% of their average is 100,000 plus. We were down here.
I got you, man.
So that video, so there was a second video, and I thought I got the videos mixed up because when she started saying if a man inspires to even work a middle class job, this is another video. I think I should have sent it to you. He is average. He's mediocre. Thinks that's mediocre. She said that's like making a D on a report card if you decide to make that your lifestyle to be a middle class worker. That's what I think a lot of people were, because she didn't focus on what she meant when she said she would rather date a businessman. She focused on the bigger picture when it comes to like America and economics. And she's saying like, as far as the Black community, if a man inspires to be a construction worker, that is mediocrity. So that's what I thought. She did that video way before she did that. So I guess I got the videos mixed up. So in that video, she's talking about it is literally, if you want to be a construction worker in her head as a grown man, that is like a D to an F in like your motivation, your social class in her head. So that's why people were really mad, because she made another video and she went into like the community and she
Okay.
just said, yes, that's what I did.
Okay, because I think she
So
states.
now
I think she states that
yeah.
on here too. I
Yeah,
think
she's
she
doing
does.
it right now. So now she's talking about Indian Americans and stuff like that compared to black. But that's very tricky, and that's another point I wanted to make. So when they're talking about entrepreneurship and certain types of corporate entities that have ownership, that is a unfair like data, because a lot of people don't really enter the working field to be an executive at a Fortune 500 company. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this culturally is just different culturally with Asians and Indians. They go to tech just naturally. That's just doctors, lawyers and stuff like that. That's just white, black, and Spanish go typically for the more hands-on manual labor careers in life. So it's not that they don't have the opportunity. It's just that's just what they go for. So when she used that data, she's saying it like everybody's goal is to be a Fortune 500 corporate America like business owner. That's not what everybody aspires to be. It's just not. So I think it's kind of like she used that for the metric system of like the ambition of the black people. But that's it. That's all.
You know, I would have. You know, something that I'm gonna have to look up is the percentage of men, and I'm not just talking about black men. I'm just talking about men of America. The percentage of men that go after technical skills versus going to college. I would have to look. That's something I would need to look up. But
you talk about STEM, and I think it's I actually have it with me. Hold on. STEM, I think it's close to, compared to women, it's
no,
like
no, no, no.
90% compared.
No, not compared to women. I'm just talking about men. The comparison between men that go just to straight to university versus men that go to technical schools. That's all I want to know. I ain't worried about the women.
Okay.
But I would like to.
Okay. I got
That's
you.
what I want to look up.
Yeah, I would like to know that. If you're gonna look it up, like I would like to know that too, because that is a good point right there. That makes a lot of sense.
Because I don't see why they're always trying to push like we need to go to college. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't really see a man like. I think men are smart enough to know like I don't want to put myself in debt. You know what I'm saying? Because a college, a semester is what? I don't even know how much a semester is. What, 20,000 a year? I don't even know. So
it's like average. It's average like 20 to, it can be 20 to like 100K a year based on
the college.
If you're going to an Ivy League versus a university or a standstill college, compared to like a what's the other type of college you can go to that would get you into a university, a community college.
Right.
So yeah, it can range between 20K to 100K, little over 100, depending on what's.
So I think I think men are smart enough to know, because I know there are men that go straight into the workforce, but I believe that men are smart enough to be like, man, I don't really want to have to be spending all that money on college, and I don't think women understand that, because you got women that are able to get grants. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I know a woman now that's in her 50s that got she has her master's and she's in debt. But she's still continually going to school, and I don't understand that. She's in debt, though. But let's go.
Yeah, well, traditionally, when women got married, that through college, the husband was supposed to pay the college debt. That's one of the things that I think is crazy, but that's all.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's continue.
Here at around 28,000, 30,000, okay? Where are white people? In the middle, Weezy. They weren't up here. So that's why I have a personal problem with a lot of the culture saying that we should not have to be excellent. We talked about this, Charlamagne, yesterday on the phone. We should get to be basically as mediocre, as average as white Americans. For me, that's a no. I'm going to tell you why. I travel the world. Y'all all travel the world. Y'all are global citizens, and we're blessed and privileged to do so. I got news for y'all. White mediocrity is depreciating fast. So I'm not going to hold white mediocrity, white subpar, white averageness as a standard for the generation of black children we're raising today.
Well, what does America do without the working class?
First of all, it's not about not having a working class. It's saying that why do black people, I'm so glad you asked this, why do black people disproportionately occupy it? Now, you made a very good point yesterday, Charlamagne, talking about essential workers, okay? America found out, if we didn't know before, how essential our bus drivers, our MTA drivers, our home health nurses, our custodians, our grocery store workers were during fast food, all of it during COVID. And God knows we were ringing those pots and shouting them out, and God bless our essential workers. Nobody loves them more than your girl here. But you know what I don't love is that black folks died at a 2-to-1 rate of during COVID, that black folks were on ventilators more often during COVID. And part of the reason why that was the case, y'all, is because we over-index in the blue-collar working sector, in the essential jobs. And many of us don't have the option that we all had, which was to do our jobs virtually. So we are on the front lines in a way that disproportionately makes us vulnerable. We're dying because of it. That is my issue, not to disrespect these people.
I feel like you're changing the goalpost.
Did I miss something here? I feel like go ahead, Real. You got it,
Bro, she's saying that what the hell? She's saying that COVID has something to do with why black people were dying during those times. First off, most of the reasons that black people were dying, because when they weren't working as much, they were still eating like shit. So when they got COVID, yeah, the likelihood could have been due to something else. But COVID was not, COVID was, if it's 1% for everybody in America, 1%, I think it was less than 1% for the deaths of COVID. How much do you think affected the black people? If it's 1%. Not even close. And black people are dying because we don't take care of ourselves. That is the main reason. It just got highlighted because of the financial effects that occurred during COVID, because black people don't save money. People live paycheck to paycheck. And most people didn't even want to go through the process of knowing that you could have got help during COVID. They didn't want to go through. I'm not going to go to the court. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to get this signed. They didn't want to go through the process, and they still don't take care of themselves. So when they were getting the COVID, I guess it could have played some part, but it was so minimal that I would never even use that as an angle during that time. That's just crazy that she thinks that was a big thing. So that just means she's on the left right there. But let's continue.
Well, we about to hear DJ Envy. You know, I might have to be on DJ Envy's side just a little bit, because now that I've listened to this more and more, I feel like Ebony K, you sound a little bit delusional. But let's see what DJ Envy has to say.
Goalpost, right? What people were upset about was what you said, and everything that you said could absolutely positively be true. People were upset that they felt like that you were putting down the average person, quote unquote average job, and the person that was working the average job, that their what they do is not as good as what you do.
That's a projection, Envy. Envy, that's a projection. Because I'll
let you speak. Let me talk. Go ahead, Envy. Yeah. So when you start talking about all this, and I read the comments just like you did, because I wanted to prepare myself when you came up here to understand what people were mad about, and understand what people were upset about. So when you're talking about all this brother this, and the black man this, and the white supremacy this, and this, that, and the other, that's all to the side of how you felt about that quote unquote average job, right? And I'll be honest with you, right? And one of the comments that I said, and maybe I'm not sure, right? The guy was like, you talk about all this about lifting a brother up and lifting this up and white supremacy and what you do for our people. And then the first thing the brother said was, but your fiance was white. And I'm sitting there like, how do you talk about how much you're uplifting and how much you're going for black people, but that's not necessarily what you're even looking for?
Well, first of all,
paging Dr. Umar, damn.
Well, let's address it. And let's not skip a beat. Mm-hmm. So I would love to know how you, Envy, know what I'm looking for, because we never had the conversation.
I don't know. I'm telling you what people are saying on comments, what I've read, and I'm talking for them. I'm not a bus driver. I'm speaking for the average person out there, because I feel for them, because the bus drivers and the average person are what keeps these lights on here on the Breakfast Club. That's right. They keep me booking shows.
Nobody is saying. Okay, first of all, this is not about you booking shows.
I'm just telling you how I feel. So when you shit on the people that
first of all,
Envy,
you're dead ass wrong for framing it as me shitting on them.
You don't think it was shitting on them?
I know it. First of all, I know it wasn't. I think what you're saying
Have
right
you
now
read the
is
comments of how people
irresponsible.
feel?
I think what you're saying
Do you
is
understand how people
irresponsible.
feel? Do you listen to the calls, how people feel?
I think what you are framing right now in this moment is highly irresponsible. Because I'm going to, if you listen, I'm going to tell you. Because if you were to listen to all of the full Iyanla interview, the full sidebar, the full episode of Holding Court, nowhere in any of that commentary did I say a cross or negative word about the working class of Black America, of America broadly, or Black men. I'm going to get to the why was my fiance. Envy, let me finish this statement.
Do you know what people feel?
I'm going to get to.
Just because you didn't mean to hurt somebody, just because you didn't mean to affect somebody, doesn't mean you didn't hurt a community.
I don't
can say anything about.
You know what? Now I want to go to. I really want to go to the Holding Court where what she said, because I really don't know what she said. I really don't know what she said. Real, you know all the stuff that she said? Is Real there? Brothers, we gonna take a time out real quick, because I gotta find out what she said.
Sidebar starts with a note of gratitude. I want to thank the culture for making my interview with Dr. Iyanla Vanzant one of the most popular and actively engaged content offerings the Griot has produced. So before I tell you my thoughts, let's replay the clip that had some of y'all deep into your feelings. I do want you to speak, Iyanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are...
Yes, sir. She's actually doing a clip.
No, I found the video. It's look up Ebony K. Williams respond the backlash. It should be 5 minutes. It says Ebony K. Williams backlash after bus driver comment.
I think this is
or
it.
You could just pick backlash. No, this is not it. She's in the video by herself.
Yeah,
it's a 5-minute video.
Yeah, she's in a video by herself. This one, she just replaying what she said. I'm gonna see if this is it first.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay. All right.
Are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Now let's address the response to the interview and what some of y'all are calling a backlash. So let me be clear. First, I am a professional disruptor. So backlash is my business. And I will always take it on the chin for the sake of advancing the work, conversation, or movement. So know that I am completely unfazed by the onslaught of nasty comments, wishing me a sad, lonely, bitter existence until my untimely death. Now, that is some weird energy to be wishing onto a Black woman, especially one who has dedicated her life to the liberation of Black folk. But, whatever. I guess go off. See, I wanted to talk about how do we close the gap between Black women who do show up in a so-called masculine posture, those of us that are providing and building and protecting due to circumstances that we might feel make us feel that if we don't do it for ourselves, we will have to go without the resources and protections we need to feel safe in this world. But Dr. Iyanla went in a different direction. She asked me a personal question. And y'all know I have been extremely transparent about the fact that my life choices and my chosen lifestyle are far outside of the norm. So when I said that I would date the bus owner, a lot of y'all heard something different. Some of you heard the following. Bus drivers are whack. Bus drivers are broke. Oh, and I'm too good for a bus driver. The only thing is, y'all made that part up. See, I said what I said. But then some of y'all started talking about salaries and hourly wages, pensions and benefits. And that's wild because I was never talking about money at all. I was talking about Black ownership. But some of y'all made it about money. I'm talking about ownership, black enterprise, and entrepreneurship, because really I am talking about black liberation. And if you read my book, you'll understand why. So I'm standing 10 toes down on that position, and I don't really care if you're hurt or offended by it. And since some of y'all are already big mad, let me go ahead and make you incensed. So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
People were upset about was what you said, and everything that you said could absolutely positively be true. People were upset that they felt like that you were putting down the average person, quote unquote average job, and the person that was working the average job, that their what they do is not as good as what you do.
That's a projection, Envy. Envy, that's a projection. Because
I'll let you speak. Let me talk.
Go ahead, Envy. Yeah.
So when you start talking about all this, and I read the comments just like you did because I wanted to prepare myself when you came up here to understand what people were mad about and understand what people were upset about. So when you're talking about all this brother this and the black man this and the white supremacy this and this, that, and the other, that's all to the side of how you felt about that quote unquote average job, right? And I'll be honest with you, right? One of the comments that I said, and maybe I'm not sure, right? The guy was like, you talk about all this about lifting a brother up and lifting this up and white supremacy and what you do for our people. And then the first thing the brother said was, but your fiance was white. And I'm sitting there like, how do you talk about how much you're uplifting and how much you're going for black people, but that's not necessarily what you're even looking for?
Well, first of all,
paging Dr. Umar, damn.
Well, let's address it, and let's not skip a beat. So, I would love to know how you, Envy, know what I'm looking for, because we never had the conversation.
I don't know. I'm telling you what people are saying on comments, what I've read, and I'm talking for them. I'm not a bus driver. I'm speaking for the average person out there, because I feel for them, because the bus drivers and the average person are what keeps these lights on here on the Breakfast Club. That's right. They keep me booking shows.
Nobody is saying. Okay, first of all, this is not about you booking shows.
I'm just telling you how I feel. So when you shit on the people that ride with me,
Envy, you're dead ass wrong for framing it as me shitting on them.
You don't think it was shitting on them?
I know it. First of all, I know it wasn't. I think what you're saying right now is irresponsible. I think what you're saying is irresponsible.
Do you listen to the calls, how people feel?
I think what you are framing right now in this moment is highly irresponsible. Because I'm going to, if you listen, I'm going to tell you. Because if you were to listen to all of the full Iyanla interview, the full sidebar, the full episode of Holding Court, nowhere in any of that commentary did I say a cross or negative word about the working class of black America, of America broadly, or black men. I'm going to get to the why was my fiance. Envy, let me finish this statement.
Do you know what people feel?
I'm going to get to.
Just because you didn't mean to hurt somebody, just because you didn't mean to affect somebody, doesn't mean you didn't hurt a community.
I
could say anything about somebody and be like, I didn't mean to hurt you. But if you hurt people, you hurt people. If people feel a way about you, they feel a way about you, because those people that you talked about are the people that buy your books, that listen to this show, and they're hurt. Listen,
Ebony, what about words like
no,
average,
I'm
mediocrity, typical, and the bigotry of low expectations? I think those are the words that hurt the working class.
You can sit here and say, no, I didn't hurt nobody. You hurt people out there
Envy.
that buy your books and follow you and support you.
You asked me
But
to be
also, if the shoe
quiet.
fits.
Y'all, please. Y'all asked me to be quiet. I listened to your full statement. I understand you
And now
have a
that you
feeling
talked for
about
22
it.
minutes and I just spoke for 60
But
seconds.
she is here to talk to him.
I know, but I'm just saying, I just spoke for 60 seconds.
We got ours off already. Let Ebony talk.
I'm just returning what she said.
Go
But
ahead, go
don't
ahead, Ebony.
act like I didn't let her speak. She spoke for 22
Absolutely.
minutes.
Go ahead, Ebony. Let her talk. Don't do that. Let her go. Go ahead.
So, Envy, this is where we're different. My primary focus and goal when I do what I do in the world is not to protect feelings. I'm going to be candid with you. I understand it's clear from the energy that there is an emotional attack that you felt was on black men, the working class, and black America. I'm going to hold the space for the hurt feelings around that. But more than I care about hurt feelings, I care about providing my people with facts and information that say that the current way of life for the majority of black Americans is not serving us. I'm going off of the data and the facts. That is, I am not okay, and I don't think it's okay, that the vast majority of black Americans, again, overpopulate, disproportionately occupy spaces that are not ideal, that make us vulnerable. I talked about the COVID, that make us vulnerable to death, disease, maternal health, all the things that y'all all talk about on this show every day. Now, if y'all are okay with the current positioning of black America, that we are the lowest income, the lowest home ownership, the lowest educated group, then so be it. And let's just stop talking now and keep on going about our business. Envy, I'm not okay with it. So that is why I said what I said about addressing the bigotry of low expectations. It's the bigotry of low expectations is the reason why I have to submit that black men are now going to HBCUs and college and generally at half the rate of black girls and women. I don't think that's okay.
Shouldn't we address the system that put us in these positions?
We are addressing the system, but first we have to name it, Charlemagne. See that?
Now, why does she? This is what I don't understand. Again, like
They are still placing that lie out there. I don't know why. Why do they still believe? See, she doesn't look at all. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No,
It
you
makes
good.
me mad now because now that I know the real facts, women are only going to college 6% more. Men are going at 26%. Women are going a little bit over 31%. Black men and black women. But black men, of all races of men, still out earn women on average. Women are not more educated. They're just going for more degrees. Most of the degrees is not even beneficial financially. In most cases, men go to college to signify their career.
Right.
Women go for random things. So they're saying as if women, if they were going twice as much as men, that they're benefiting from it. No, they're not. They're not even benefiting from the amount that the 6% more that they go, it's not benefiting them financially, no shape, way, or form. It's actually putting them in debt, like you always say.
I'm just trying to think. My thing too is, are we? And she keep putting this HBCU like. I get it, the black college, whatever, but I guess are we also factoring in technical colleges, technical schools? Is that considered a college?
I think she's like pro-black too, Slim, but it doesn't make sense. That's why she keeps quoting like specific types of programs and schools and stuff. So I don't know if she's even I don't even know if that's included in what she's trying to make a statement about. To be honest with you, you don't know because she keeps making it like a more of a black thing when it comes to like college.
And here's the other problem too, because you have a lot. See, every one of those people that's on that platform right now, they make a lot of money. I think the only person that doesn't have a college degree on that platform is Charlemagne. Charlemagne's the only one that doesn't have a degree.
True.
Everybody else, and I'm sure, and I don't know why Charlemagne's not really speaking. I feel like Charlemagne should be speaking up more because he hustled to get where he's at. Like literally, he hustled. So I
That's a
don't.
fact.
So I don't
That's a
understand
fact.
why he's not speaking up more for. And I guess I could say maybe like people like me because I'm regular. Why are you not
Yeah,
speaking
he
up more?
hustled and he did. Yeah, I I think he wanted to make this a controversial topic for the show because of how look how mad Envy is. I don't even know why he's that angry. But hey, I think it's funny that like now I'm hearing about the real estate thing. You know, he's under like under
Oh yeah,
investigation.
yeah, yeah. Him and that other dude. Yeah,
So I think it's funny that he said that because then technically he screwed over a lot of average people because
yeah.
they're stealing money. Now he claimed he's not involved in that part, but how did he make all? How did he just said that he has like over 1,000 clients? I don't know, but I don't know why he's so mad though. To be honest with you,
You
like
know
even
what?
if it's, I get what he's saying. I don't know.
I think what it is because his father was he did an average. He was a blue collar worker. His mother and his father, and they pushed him to go to college. So I believe that's part of it. Like he's defending for the average for the blue collar workers because his father was a blue collar worker. I think he said his father was a cop or something, or he worked at the police department. So
Oh, okay. But she said she said that hers, but she tried to put out the fact that her family was too, but they was working towards of the investment of a profit, like later for themselves. Like they worked their ass off to invest so they wouldn't have to work as much later in their life. I think that's how most adults did it back in the day. They did a lot of work so they can rest. But I think DJ Envy, I don't think his parents actually until he became famous, I don't think his parents was investing like that. I think they were just working to like to survive.
right. Well, let's continue.
See, that's where people's feelings are getting hurt, is the fact that I am naming it. I am saying that it is not okay to bring C's and D's to your home and then expect to go on to higher education and acquire a higher skill set. And when you say that, that is hurtful to people, Envy. I'm acknowledging the pain. But somebody has got to start telling the truth to our people. And some of y'all wonder why you get the political representation y'all get, because some folks would rather hear things that make them feel good than understand and hear the things that are the truth. So let's talk about average, mediocre, and typical. Because a lot of people felt a way about it. Well, I looked it up. I did the service of pulling it up out of Merriam-Webster. So this is not Ebony shitting on anybody, Envy. This is simply to say when you do something average, by definition, it is of typical value. It is normal and it is standard. When you are regular, normal, acceptable. When you are mediocre, that would have people real hot. It means ordinary, medium, commonplace, and moderate.
And the bigotry, don't forget the bigotry of low expectations.
I'm going to get to that. That's an academic study, okay? Mm-hmm. So those of you that think that's George W. Bush, go do your reading. Go do your reading. But let's talk about those words, Charlamagne. Nothing in there says you ain't shit. Nothing in there says it's bad or low or beneath.
They've applied the negative connotation to those
That's
words.
a projection, and I'm not going to stand for it because you need to be honest with the actual semantics in which we are talking about. So when you say regular, hardworking, everyday people, Charlamagne, that is rhetorically not any different than me saying average, mediocre work.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to agree with her point on that. If she's going by definition, which is correct, mediocre is medium. It's a term for medium, and it's not. I think, and like they said, they add a negative connotation to it. Like I think that's that's the problem. And you know me with the people on here, they don't even use the right words for how they even try to explain their stance or their points because of what people do to it. They add their feelings to the definition, so it's a whole different meaning. When people define things based on how they feel about it, it comes out a lot different than when you actually hear the definition. So she's right. So a lot of people do want to feel good rather than know the truth.
Right.
So she's correct in that, and she's saying, hey, all she said was those things, but she didn't say. She said that I don't want that. I want someone that's going to want more. So I understand her mindset. Do I agree with some of the shots she was taking? No, but I know now that I can kind of understand why, because of the comment section, and she has every right to do it the way she wants, but just know that she's going to get the same judgment for doing it. But she's not doing nothing wrong right here. I feel like she's simply just say, hey, by definition, what I'm saying is not wrong. I can't help that the black community has created their own definitions for vocabulary words that mean not even half the shit they believe it to me. Trust me, I know people that don't even know the definition of a lot of words that they always preach, and it's crazy. But that's all.
Okay. Let's continue.
I
Not the
disagree because
individual.
those words can be weaponized. Just like the word basic has been
Okay,
weaponized.
yeah,
I can call y'all basic. I can call y'all basic B's,
But
and
that's
y'all
what I'm
be
saying. But there's a
upset.
negative connotation. It's
You call
why
me mediocre, I'm out the room.
But
That
it's
is
why.
her-
But also,
See how I made a whole song
negative.
called I don't want no mediocre.
But also, we've done that with the N-word. We've done it with the word whore. There's negative connotations to a lot of words, and if someone calls it to you, I get that. But
We
even with
reclaim the word whore. You
get
are
it.
talking about something
No,
totally
But
different.
what I'm saying is,
Nobody
even,
is reclaiming
even when she
average
brought
and
up,
mediocre.
Even when she brought up C's and D's in school, academically, a C says you're average.
That's exactly
I
what
don't
it
know.
means.
I don't know
And people
why
have
that's a
problem
problem being average.
because people,
if you're
Mandy,
okay accepting
Mandy,
C's.
I'm going to
Because
tell
I don't think
you.
essential workers are average. I don't think
First
essential
of all,
workers are
Charlamagne,
mediocre.
let me finish this statement
I don't think
because
Uber
part
drivers,
of,
bus drivers, I don't think any of those people are average or mediocre.
I'm not saying that the people are average. So let's slow it down.
I don't think the job is average.
The job is
Mediocre.
average.
I don't think
the
so.
job is average by definition. It says that most people can do it per the skill set. It also speaks to the income it commands. It speaks to scarcity and demand.
So what
That's
do we say
what we're
about the
talking
people
about.
that are holding college degrees that have to drive Uber right now because
They're
they can't
doing
get into
mediocre work. So Weezy, let me be very
But-
clear as to what I'm not saying. No, y'all got to listen to this. I am not saying that a piece of paper makes you a more valuable individual. I didn't say that. I don't believe that. I prove it to you. I let a lawyer go because when I was ready to go, where I was trying to go and vacation with him, sir, your particular way of practicing law did not allow provision and protection.
But I think what's the real question is if C's and D's aren't good enough, and you're saying that
Do
a
you think
higher
C's and
education
D's are good
What
enough?
I'm saying is you're saying a higher education also doesn't mean that. Then what do they have to do to be excellent? Because
exceptional.
I'm someone who did have C's, B's, A's. I own 3 businesses. I'm sitting here with all y'all, and shit, we all make 7 figures. Maybe I'm on the lower end of this as a mediocre person. It's like.
You don't know what I make. I don't make that kind of money.
I mean,
Why are you lying?
He probably makes 8.
Listen, you couldn't tell him about
Weezy,
so-
but
I mean-
Weezy, did you hear my
That's
story
fair.
about my mother? Weezy, she doesn't have a college degree. My grandfather didn't, but she never did it.
I did hear about
she
your
did,
mom.
Right, so she's not mediocre, not because, but when she drove that bus, she was doing mediocre work. We can call her up and she'll say that. And that it's the framing.
But what do they have to do to surpass it then for you?
You have to do something, not for me.
But by
This
your
is for the
standards,
culture.
because if Charlamagne is saying it's not mediocre or average, and the people listening feel like they're not, by your
Okay, I
That's
just
a good
want
question,
people to
Ebony.
stand on it.
Like,
I want people to stand on it. If you are a person, and we're talking about Black America, and you feel as if you have maxed out your skill set, whether it's in the classroom or when you wake up in the morning and do whatever it is that you do, then God bless you, and I support and love you. I am talking to Black people that I know have a potential skill set that is untapped. So that's the difference between mediocre and exceptional. Not the piece of paper, not even the income. It's, are you complicit and complacent in what you are doing currently, or are you willing to go above and beyond and do the thing that most people won't do? By definition, Weezy, that's where
above and
exception
beyond
lies.
could be the nurse that drives Uber on the side. I think that's why
Look,
I'm
my
like.
father was a military. He was a mechanic. He was a bus driver. He was a police
So he was
officer.
exceptional. Your father was exceptional.
My mother worked at Guardian Life Insurance. I'm the first person in my family to go to college, first person to graduate from college, and my parents put me through college. So I don't look at them as mediocre. I don't look at them as average. They are exceptional, and they did what they do to get their
What you
kids through
said
all
is
this
so
stuff.
different than what
And
I'm talking
and
about
I am the
in
same with
envy.
them, and I am the
And
same.
that is
and the
just
difference,
not
and the difference,
intellectually
and the
honest, what you're
difference is
doing.
what you said is, oh, you want to encourage and you want to do this. I do the same thing without putting people down.
I'm not putting people down. I'm being very
I
honest.
think you are, and
Envy.
people have been saying. I don't think you're listening. Like as much as you talk, you're not listening to what people
Oh,
are
I'm
saying.
listening. I'm
You're
not bothered by that, though.
You're
I'm not
because
going to
people
be
are hurt and they
shamed.
have opinions. Just like
I
you
am
have your
not go-
opinion, you can't talk over people and not let people talk.
But you're also interrupting me, Envy.
I'm not. I was talking. You keep talking to me. I let you speak, and then I just started talking.
Okay, you got it.
I just started talking. I let you speak, and I waited for you to be quiet, and I started talking. You heard something that you didn't like, and you cut me off. That's how it just went.
Because once you start being
now it's not-
intellectually
see,
dishonest.
Here we go. Now it's not envy. Go ahead.
now
No,
come
that's
on.
exactly what
Let's keep it.
happened.
Let's keep it.
No, but if
keep it
I
cool.
give somebody the platform to speak, and I let you speak, then I speak, and you have to listen just like I listen. Just like with Weezy and Mandy, when they speak, I listen. It doesn't matter that we don't agree or disagree. We can have a conversation, but we got to respect each other in this
I
conversation.
agree.
I think
And
that
part of
the-
that
I-
respect is being honest.
Yeah,
And
I think
am
the
being honest,
conversation is healthy. If you listen to the whole Ayanla interview, I get a better sense of what you're trying to say. But the second the doubling down is what threw me completely off.
What threw
it
you
did
off
sound,
about it?
It did sound like you was shitting on the working class.
I'm not shitting on the working class.
And,
Listen,
and if you weren't, I think
that
you
is-
need to make that very clear.
Well, I've tried to make it clear with 3 different examples. I think y'all don't want to hear it. And that's okay, Envy. It's okay. Like you said, it's okay to disagree. Okay? So we can argue semantics back, because that's really, at this point, this is an argument around semantics. This is not around intention. This is not around feelings. Because we talked about the data. We've gone to the dictionary to define the words. Now it is, I heard what you said, but this is how it made me feel.
So what is Ebony K. Williams trying to say?
I am saying plainly, Charlamagne, that I believe in maximizing skill sets for Black Americans. I believe in ownership, entrepreneurship, and multiple streams of income as a way tethered to our liberation as Black people who were brought here in chattel some 16, 19 year. And if that makes you feel a way, maybe it's time to do something about it. That's all, and many people are. So when Envy talks about this example of his father being in law enforcement and being a business owner and doing 3, 4 things on top of that, that is nowhere near mediocrity. That is called exceptionalism. That is called a Black man availing himself to his highest calling and skill set. He talks about his mother and what she did. That is not mediocrity. By the way, there's nothing wrong with mediocrity. By definition, it's not bad nor good, it's mediocre. It is typical and it is regular. But if you are looking for me, if anybody is looking for me to put out a permission slip for people that look.
So I'm not going to take sides. I was, but I'm not taking sides. And Ebony K has basically controlled this whole conversation. That, because I could actually see why DJ Envy now is upset. Now, that little 5-minute clip that Ebony K did, I don't really take offense to that. I don't take offense to the fact that she wants to date somebody that makes it. She has to really be honest with herself. And Ebony K has to understand that basically what everybody else heard is that you are not going to date somebody that's not making that much money. Even though you said that it's not about money. Actually, it is. Because I promise you that you could have a hard-working plumber that doesn't own his company, but he probably went all the way to the top to where he maxed out. He's making the highest. I mean, it'll probably be nice that he owns it, but maybe he doesn't want that responsibility. I know I wouldn't. I just don't want the responsibility. I don't want to be responsible for somebody else. I don't want to have to be, if I have workers under me.
You get sued for other people. It can fuck up your business,
exactly.
Networking, all that. Yeah, you're responsible for a lot of people. And another thing, what's crazy? I'm glad you pointed out that that Charlamagne the God didn't go to college, and I know his story too. So he had to really hustle. He makes more than everybody on that podcast.
Yeah,
on
he
that
does.
show, he makes more. I went to go look at the network. He makes 8 figures. Everybody over there makes 7 figures.
Yeah.
So he's making more than all of them. So you make a good point. He should have been talking more. So, yeah, you're right.
Again, brothers, I'm not really, again, I'm not here to take sides. I started to, because I was actually more on Ebony K. Williams, but then once I started listening, I don't know, this is like my 4th time listening to this video, and I think it took other people to comment, to react to it for me to understand. Because Ebony K. Williams threw a lot of shots, and I don't even think she even though she claimed that it was jokes, these are things that a lot of I'll just say a lot of women say. They will say things about men that, oh well, you do this job, so I know that that you're cheap, or you got this many women. Brother, it don't matter what job you got. I was in the military. It was said that I probably got babies all across the country. Then I'm in the world, because I've been to different countries. Then of course I'm a truck driver, so now I got babies all over the place in different states. You a barber, you sleeping with the baby mama, the ones that bring in their sons. Mechanic, you sleeping with the woman because she ain't got no man. No matter what job a man has, they're gonna look at you in a negative light. They're gonna find something and turn it negative. Now again, Ebony K made it. She probably was joking, but a lot of men don't find that funny. So I see where DJ Envy is getting why he's so defensive, but I think he took it way too personal, which I understand why, because his parents were blue collar workers. But hey, brothers, if that's what they want to date, let them. They're gonna have some of these women are gonna have a hard time getting these type of men. Ebony K is still single. She's freezing eggs now. That's how bad. She's 40 and now she's freezing eggs. That's how bad Ebony K has it. But let's go ahead and continue.
Look like me and come from where I come from, which is the diaspora. Around average is good enough. Medium is okay. Just do enough to get by. No, I'm not going to make that soft place for you to land.
Well, to Weezy's question, what is exceptional then?
It's very simple. Y'all keep acting like it's hard. Anything that goes above your minimum skill set. That's it. Whatever that is for you, that might be driving the Uber. Like I said, when my mother was driving the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school bus and working for UPS at night and putting herself through beauty school, all in a means to advance her skill set so she could go do finger waves for 7 hours. And then when she realized, okay, I have a skill set on top of that, shout out to finger waves, okay? I don't want to stand on my feet doing finger waves 7 hours a day. I can do something different than that. She opened a child care facility. Then she opened another one, and then she bought tractor trailers, and then she had a fleet of trucks.
Did it bother you then when people brought up salary and money because you had a different point?
Yes, and that's
But
why I
you
said
did
in the
that in the
clapback.
Ayanla interview, though. You brought up salary. When you set the conversation, you talked about how
Along
women are
with
making
many
more
other
money than
things,
men,
and
how
ownership.
they're buying houses more than men.
And that's
So
ownership.
you set that table.
Yeah, but even
because
what
it's
she's
a
saying too in
several
terms of salary, she's saying multiple streams of income at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is why, okay, he's a bus driver. Your father did multiple things and owned properties.
No, he didn't do multiple things.
Well,
he was a mechanic. He only did one thing at one time. He just worked
but then
overtime
owning
to make sure it was
property,
good. He didn't own no properties, nothing. My pops he didn't invest. He doesn't know anything about the stock market. I'm the first person in my family to
And that's
invest
what
in
you do.
anything.
Okay.
Correct. He
Yeah,
doesn't know anything about it. But I would also say that a lot of people in
this
our
is why he was
communities
mad.
don't have the
Again, and you already said
That's
it.
why he was upset.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, brother, I don't see it. Look, I think everybody should. I don't say that every brother should have at least maybe a second source of income. But I don't believe that you brothers should be working your ass off. Well, let me phrase that. You don't need to kill yourself working a job. I don't believe you should do that. And I wouldn't want to do that. I see brothers that's working 2-3 jobs. There's women out there that's working 2-3 jobs, busting their ass. But in the way, when I look at it, it's like, to me, you have very little financial education. And don't get me wrong, I did too. But I just knew that I always said to myself that I would never overwork myself. There's times that I'd have with one job, but I can't see myself working 2 jobs. I just can't do it. I remember even my parents, when I got fired, my parents were telling me I should get 2 jobs. I told them I'm not doing it. I don't want to get 2 jobs. I'm not about to burn myself out. And I don't think any man should do that. Unless you have to. But you should do it for a short time, brothers. I don't believe in burning yourself out. You got a lot of men out there that are dying early. They work their whole life and dying early because they overwork their body. So that's just my advice to you, brothers. But that goes all the way back to you planning on what you should be doing with your life. Not waiting until the last minute. You 35 years old, now you want to go, now you working at McDonald's talking about you trying to be a manager. You talking about, yeah, I'm the best fry cook or whatever. Nah, brothers, that ain't going to work. You should be planning your life early. And to you brothers that have children, you should be planning your children's life, getting them set up. Don't wait until they're 18. By then, it's too late. It's too late by the time they turn 18, brothers. Let's finish this out.
The opportunities that a lot of people do.
And
They don't have the-
I don't think, Ebony, you're speaking enough to the disadvantages
They
that
don't
black
have
people
they don't have the
face
advantages
that
that
put us
get
in
They
these,
don't have the
your
ability
words,
to get
mediocre
jobs.
jobs.
They don't have those abilities. They don't have those abilities that a lot of my
And
white neighbors now have.
In which, to be fair, I went to, shout out to Evans High School in Orlando, Florida, 98% black, especially when I graduated in 2009. We had trades. So like literally it was a nursing program. It was cosmetology school. My mom believed in just going into the healthcare field, and then we had hospitality as another option.
Wait a minute. You graduated in 2009 and you look like that? If you graduated in 2009, you should be, right now you should be in your early 30s. My math might be wrong, but you should be, you look a little big.
Yeah, I don't know what. See, this is what's happening to people, why they're not taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
And she's a millionaire. So that just goes to show that she can afford to accommodate her health. They're not doing it, bro. No matter how much they making, they all make millions of dollars. And look, they look like they're in their 40s. That's cool.
That I thought she was in her 40s.
Look at this.
Golly. And I wonder how old is the other person beside her. I hope she better not even tell her age. Because she look a little old too. But the one with the blonde, and I don't know, man, that blonde hair too, that even makes you even look worse. 2009. My sister graduated in 2000. She's 41. What the hell is going on with our... Forget it, man. Let's continue, bruh. Sheesh.
We're literally taught these are the jobs that are suitable for you as well at a very young age. I was about to go to be a CPA. Sure. I worked at a Big Four, worked at Goldman Sachs, worked at EY. I was unfamiliar that those jobs and opportunities were available to me until I moved to New York City. Yeah. Coming from Orlando, I didn't know I could be an accountant or what Wall Street was in finance. And so I do agree to that standpoint that we're not even given the scope of what our opportunities can
look like. Would those jobs be
So-
considered mediocre?
So I'm not even gonna play this.
Look, you just poking a bear now. Now you just poking.
But let's let Ebony say her last words and get whatever she has to get out without interrupting, because we have to go. We have to cut this up. No, we have to cut it up because it goes on in 10 minutes.
No, understand. I will say this. To Envy's point of our people not knowing, I agree with you, which is why I am so incensed and I'm so committed to having this conversation. Right now, if you single family homeowners, if you need a tree cut from your yard, that truck that's gonna cut it down is not cranking for less than $5,000.
That's right.
So we have to talk about those things. And so y'all can get stuck in mediocre and average and the terminology and your hurt feelings if you want to. I suggest you get out of those feelings and you start thinking about HVAC. You start thinking about heating and air. You start thinking about, what would it look like to be an electrician and own my own bed? And again, in ownership, not working for a salary job for somebody else unless that is your maximum skill set. So if you're somebody that says, hey, I don't want to take on the work, or I cannot take on the work of balancing the books and running the taxes and doing got it, no problem. Then go do that.
So those aren't average jobs.
It's around your skill set. It's not about the job being average, it's your skill set. If you know that, if C and D, back to the...
You contradicted yourself, Ebony, because you said it. Come on. You said those stuff were average or mediocre. Now all of a sudden, look, man, you're doing a lot of flip-flopping. You really are.
You're right. She is. Because she's staying strong, and she has to contradict herself because it's not adding up. One minute you're saying the job is mediocre. Then she said the mindset. Then she's going back to the fact that, well, if it's your maximum effort, then it's okay to be a bus driver. But then she's like, I wouldn't date a bus driver because of the finances. She is flip-flopping. I ain't going to hold you. And now, like I said, I think that she was not prepared, and I don't think she was going to be going back with Envy like that, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah. You know what, brothers? I gotta apologize because I was initially going to go in on DJ Envy. That's actually what I was going to do at first. Because I felt like, again, this is probably number 5. I've watched this is going to be 5 times I've watched this. And I was going to go in on DJ Envy, but now I got a better perspective and actually listen more to Ebony K. I understand why DJ Envy is upset. Should he have gotten that upset? No. But I see he's on the defensive end. and it's because of his parents. So I get it. But Ebony K has flip-flopped through this whole interview. And I'm sure that she's going to have to watch this interview and see what she did. Because this ain't right. But I guess let's see what else she has to say.
Back to the academics. If that is your best, God bless you. I just know for a lot of us, that is the bigotry of low expectations. That is an academic social science study done by a man named Michael Gerber, okay? And it's important that we have expectations for our black children that start at the top, to Mandy's point earlier, that says, I see the best in you, I expect the best in you. If you fall short of that, let's look at why that is, and then we go about the business of black collaboration.
You
and
told
excellence.
one big lie today.
What was that?
You are an entertainer. Because, to be honest with you, nothing you said in this moment was wrong, but the clip that you put out...
It was salacious on purpose.
There's no way, Ebony, because I believe you. I know you want better for us. I know that you're speaking from a place of honesty and love, but that clip was entertainment. And I think one can't exist without the other.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm not entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, I can see, because of course that's a part of my personality. It's a part of the nature of the work. That's my whole career path. When you see what you're describing, is I'm taking deep intellectual capacity and I'm marrying it with personality and aesthetic packaging that is palatable for global consumption.
So basically, you kind of got to make them feel bad.
No, I don't have to make anybody feel bad. And, y'all can stay on that. Y'all can take that to the grave.
For them to read it, for them to want more.
My intention was never for anybody to feel bad. But to Envy's point, intention means nothing. If I step on your toe and I didn't mean to, your toe still hurts. So I'm not debating intention.
Yeah.
I'm saying it might have been painful, regardless of my intention. And yet, how do we move on from it? Because again, I'm not preoccupied. I'm not going to not say what I believe and feel for the sake of feelings.
I want to say, how do you feel about the American dream? And what I mean by that is the American dream is the belief that anyone, regardless of where they were born or what class they were born into, can attain their own version of success in a society which upward mobility is possible for everyone. So all of these jobs that we're talking about, that is those people's version of success. That is their American dream. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with them having that?
I think you know the answer. Nothing, Charlamagne.
Okay.
Nothing. Like, come on, we're talking circularly, to Envy's point. There's nothing wrong with that. I am simply, he said it, there are people that don't know what's possible. There are people that don't know, man, I would love to have a salon. What does that take? Well, let me start an LLC. Well, maybe I need to convert to an S corporation. Maybe I need to do this. And so when we are so caught up with feelings, because we don't want people to feel bad, we don't want to call out what people don't have access to or knowledge around, I think it's stagnant.
I think we all agree with that, and what Envy's saying and what everybody else is saying is you can say all of that, and that's true, without calling people average, mediocre, typical, or telling them they're stuck in the low expectations.
You know how I know Ebony more
bigotry.
educated than me? If Ayanla asked me that question, I'd say, well, what do he look like?
Well, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Again, Charlamagne,
I just don't think
fine.
those are words that should be used to describe the working
And
class.
I think per the dictionary, and per the facts. So again, we spent 40 minutes talking about something that's very simple, and unfortunate that this is really where we landed, Charlamagne, because we're talking about personal projections around defined words. That's really what this whole, and that's why brother is nodding.
But you can weaponize defined words.
But don't put that on me, because I'm not weaponizing it.
Whether you think you did or not, I told you I think you did.
Well, you can think whatever you want, Charlamagne.
And a lot of other people did too.
I don't care what. It could be Jesus Christ thinking it. I know what I said.
Well, if it's Jesus Christ, you better listen. If it's Jesus Christ, you better listen.
Well, you listen. But I
do appreciate the broader
conversation. You better listen to Jesus.
That's right.
Yeah,
well, we thank you for
I appreciate the platform. I really
and,
do. But let's be very careful that we are not so blindsided, stuck, and regressive in our feelings that we're not able to hear clearly the facts and the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ebony K. Williams.
That's it.
All right. Well, that was your rumor report too.
Bus driver gate continues.
Bus driver gate.
Bus driver gate. The People's Choice mixes.
Well, that's pretty much it, brothers. Hey, I just listen. I don't even. Again, I apologize because I was ready to get on DJ Envy, but it didn't turn out that way. So this was a good conversation. I do plan on doing the one where they had an interview with Iyanla, because that one A lot of black women were very upset at a lot of things that she said, including Ebony K. Williams. That's how Ebony K. Williams because Ebony K. Williams brought Iyanla to her show. That's how all that started. Because Iyanla was on the Breakfast Club and she said certain things that triggered Ebony K. Williams. So I will make sure and do a reaction to that. I'm gonna have to. Hey, you gonna be around for that reel?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.